Hi, welcome to Family Sociology. We're going to begin with Chapter 1, What is Family? Now this is going to be done in two parts, and this is Part 1. The material in this chapter provides the groundwork for studying the family. We're going to explore the various definitions of family, and it's important for two reasons. First, since individuals have a diverse understanding of family membership, and it's helpful to provide a common basis for our class and for any discussions. And secondly, as a student choosing to take this course, you will often find work in social service occupations, and many of these service providers have their own official definitions of family, which govern eligibility. So it's helpful if you have some awareness of the challenges and implications of drafting these definitions. For example, you can go visit a family in the hospital, but who is considered family from the hospital's perspective? And is it different if you're visiting a family member in prison? Are their definitions of family different? What about applying for family benefits? This chapter also explores various theoretical approaches to family and introduces an important concepts and terminology. Theory can throw light on the rationale behind current social policies, such as who gets family benefits. And then finally, the chapter describes some common methods of used in studying the family, so research-based. And since it's important for students to know how we obtain information and be able to judge how reliable it is, and that's what the research is about. Now, I'm going to include in this chapter a sociological term that's not in your text, but it's an important sociological term, and it's to assist you in the exploration throughout the semester, and it's known as sociological imagination. Okay, so let's get started. Family sociology is a subcategory of sociology, and the sociological imagination, it's an important consideration when exploring sociology and therefore by extension, family sociology. Now, sociology as a science is a systematic study of human society and social interactions. It's a science and it follows a systematic process of investigation. Now, sociology considers the individual, the society, and the consequences of the differences between people and groups in that society. So why do we study sociology? Well, we study to understand the interdependence and complexity of social life. We study it to participate in the process of public, social, and economic and cultural policies. And we understand sociology as a way of, what's the differences are between groups and the possible explanation for some of those differences. Now, as I mentioned in the introduction, we're going to touch on a topic that's not in your textbook. And I do this to try to help you understand the perspectives that is useful in sociology. And it's a sociological imagination, which was coined by C. Wright Mills. C being C capital dot Wright Mills, and is defined as, so sociological imagination is defined as the ability to see the relationship between the individual experience and the larger society. There are two dimensions of one's sociological imagination. There's the personal troubles dimension and a public issue dimension. We'll start with the personal troubles. Now, this is the private troubles of individuals and the networks of persons that one associates with on a regular basis. So that's in your personal bubble. The public issues, now these, the matters that are beyond the individual. This isn't something you always control. These are things outside of you that are caused by problems originating at a societal level. The effects of economic policies and social policies that change things for ordinary Canadians. Like, for example, the policies around COVID. All of those policies affected everybody in a variety of different ways. And that was something you didn't choose. It was thrust upon you. So personal troubles, when a person commits suicide, for example, there are likely personal issues and private reasons for that person's decision to do so. But there may also be public issues. Suicide may also be a result of a variety of social reasons: the lack of social cohesiveness, poor education, economic basis. So when we consider things like homelessness and unemployment, divorce, and family violence, all of these issues have personal and public implications, where our sociological imagination allows us to see both variables. And that's an important element. Now, in university, I studied community psychology, where we were encouraged to see the best fit between the individual and the community. We needed to see both sides in order to be able to enabling ourselves to see the bigger picture, to better see solutions that address both sides. For sociological imagination, the promise is that the first fruit of the imagination can enable us to interpret our experiences and gauge one's fate only by locating ourselves within this historical period of one's life. Now, as we proceed through this class of family sociology, we keep in mind our sociological imagination when considering the family. All of the issues that we will explore have personal troubles and public issue components, all to assist a better sociological perspective. Now, we're studying family sociology, so we first need to ask the question, what is a family? Now, at first blush, we might think this is an obvious answer. However, in Canada, and this is important, there are many definitions depending on many factors. Now, I think I put it over here. Have a look at that list of people. Who do you see as part of your family? Now, this list can reveal many variables from ethnic, individual differences in definitions of family. So it's just interesting that when you look around at all the different people that might be on campus or that you see on a day-to-day basis just passing on the street, how different might each of their families be from yours? So let's explore what is a family from a sociological point of view. The variable is that family is considered a primary social institution. Now, these structures of relationships in family that organize social behavior around central activities or social need. Other institutions other than family, these include the economy, education, healthcare, religion, politics, mass media. These are all structures of relationships and are organized social activities. And they address a central activity or a social need. Social institutions are enduring. That just really means that they've been long-lasting and have been around for a while. All of those social institutions have been around for over 100 years, as an example. Now, this will be revisited when we review the theories of family in part 2 of this chapter. We'll look at the structural functionalist, which is the first theoretical view of the family, considers the family as a structure like other structures, and it performs specific functions. One such function of families is to have and raise children, for example. All right? So to further clarify our definition of family, we need to consider two terms. First, there's a term that's known as household. Now, you've no doubt heard the term, but this is where people who occupy the same dwelling, one or more families, a single person, a group of related or unrelated people, grandmother, apartment roommates, brother, sisters. There was a time in our history that this was the definition of family. The other term to be aware of is known as communal living. A group of families with shared beliefs share resources, money, clothing, food, and work is done for the benefit of the community. The community takes precedence over the family. Now, definitions of what a family is and how it functions in society have changed over time and place. What a family has been expected to function as in different times or in different cultures is not all the same and has all grown or evolved over time. A variety of legal definitions exist, but there's no fixed legal definition, as the definition often changes because family changes over time. Government regulations determine family for such services as medical and family benefits. There is a term that's known as the census family. It's a legal definition of family used by Stats Canada. You can see other legal definitions in there. I think it's box 1.1 in your textbook. Common law spouses, single parents with one child, and same-sex couples are all considered families under various laws and legal definitions. Stats Canada, the Census Family, Correction Service Canada, Air Canada, the Vanier Institute for Family, the Children's Aid Society of Toronto, they all have their own definitions of family. Now, other than the legal, there are social definitions of family. Various groups, including religious organizations and ethnic groups, have definitions of family. Hospital visitation, churches, and religious organizations, for example. And in spite of the definition difference, two basic concepts still emerge. Now, you've probably heard both. One is the nuclear family, a family consisting of a husband, a wife, and their children. It's often called the standard North American family, and it forms the basis of what advocates call the traditional family values. Now, family orientation is families that are born into and raised in. So your family of orientation is your mom and dad and your siblings. The family of procreation is formed through marriage or cohabitation. So when you get married or you live with somebody and have children, that's your family of procreation. Then the second group, nuclear being the first, the second is what's called the extended family. It's the nuclear family and all other relatives, the extended family network. It's also known as kinship. Now, the third level of definition, you can see where having a clear definition of family in Canada is very difficult. So the third level are what's known as personal definitions of family, and in some cases, close friends are considered family members, even a pet in some cases. In cases of conflict, like divorce, a family member may not be considered as belonging, even though he or she may be a blood family member. And then there's the intentional family, a family whose members, though they're not related by blood or by marriage, they call themselves a family. They may share a residence or common lifestyle. Decision to join one often arises out of the human need for companionship and emotional connection that comes from shared experiences. Okay, now that's been a quick beginning of just what is a family, and I'm hopefully you're seeing that, you maybe came in thinking family was pretty straightforward, and it probably is in a lot of ways in a lot of the content, but there's a lot of variation of what is a family. And we're going to look at what made that sort of happen over time. So in part 2, we're going to look at the theories that aim to help us understand how family works and relate to society as a whole. Now, the following questions are going to be helpful when considering the theories. How does the theory account for both the change of family and the continuity in family patterns? As much as we've changed, we've also remained somewhat the same. So how do our theories account for that? 2, does the theory show how society and family influence one another? Remember, this is about the sociological imagination, the personal troubles versus the public issues. 3, what does the theory say about relationships within the family? 4, how has the theory affected policies and practices of government, social agencies, and others who deal with families? Theories consider a variety of topics, and since families do not exist in isolation, but are part of the vast social network, family members are part of the larger society through membership and participation in neighborhoods, schools, work, religious organizations, social, recreational groups. Society provides expectations for family members, and the family members are supposed to socialize children and look after each other physically and emotionally, but not inflict harm. So theories can shine a light on these sorts of issues, and that's what we're going to do in part 2. All right? So I hope this is getting off to a good start for you. Part 2 will complete with the theories, and then we'll keep on moving along like this through the semester. All right, everybody. Good luck, and carry on the good fight. Bye now.